You slammed the bedroom door shut behind you, your blood boiling as your eyes scanned the room. The sight made your stomach twist in rage. Rose petals scattered across the bed, dim candlelight casting a warm glow, the soft hum of a romantic tune echoing from hidden speakers. Seriously, you muttered under your breath before storming to the bed and ripping the petals off one by one, your fingers trembling with fury. Who the hell thought this was a good idea? A damn honeymoon suite for a forced marriage? The door creaked open and in walked Jungkook, hands in his pockets, his jacket slightly open, revealing that smug chest you loathed to look at, but somehow always ended up staring at. He paused at the threshold, eyes sweeping across the mess you had made, then smirked. Wow, did the petals insult you? Or are you just this romantic by nature? You whirled around. Don't start with me. Oh, sweetheart, he drawled, stepping closer with maddening calm. You did that yourself. I was just appreciating your passion. He stopped right in front of you, too close, too tall, and too warm. You know, this night could have been fun if you weren't so hell bent on pretending you hate me. He shoved his chest. I do hate you. His eyes darkened with challenge, lips curling. Then why do your hands linger when you push me away? You stepped back instantly. Touch me and I'll kill you. His smile only widened, noted. But just so you know, I never start, I only finish, you know? Now that we are married, you belong to me, legally, emotionally, physically. Your heart dropped and you looked at him in anger. Try to act on any of that, and I swear to God, you'll be left with no lips to kiss ever again. He chuckled, low and maddening. Damn, I forgot how sharp your mouth is. Maybe I should shut it with mine. You stepped back, fist clenched. Stay on your side of the room. He ignored that completely, casually tossing his jacket on the chair. Why so tense, sweetheart? I thought wives were supposed to be soft. I'm not your wife. I'm your nothing. I disagree, he said, running a hand through his hair like he had all the time in the world. You keep saying you hate me, but you have got the eyes of a woman dying to be ruined. You grabbed the nearest pillow and threw it at him with everything you had. He caught it, laughing. Calm down, darling. Now that you're mine, I can do whatever I want with you. You are disgusting. Relax, I won't touch you unless you beg. He said with a smirk, stepping towards you just enough to rattle your breathing. You rolled your eyes, keep dreaming. He cocked his head. Maybe you want me to push you to the edge, just so you have an excuse to snap and finally kiss me. Or maybe I just want to throw you off the balcony. He laughed lightly. Keep glaring at me like that and I'll take it as an invitation. God, you are insufferable. Didn't your mother teach you not to provoke a man on his wedding night? Didn't yours teach you to not act like you own a woman? He was closer now. You could feel it, the heat, the arrogance, the way he looked at you like you were his favorite puzzle. You are fire, baby, but even fire melts when the right hands touch it. You almost laughed. You seriously think you're the right hands? Your words say no, your body. He glanced down pointedly. That's another story. Then try to touch me and lose a finger. He smiled. You married me, mistake or not, you're mine now. You stepped closer just to prove you weren't afraid. You know, you are so mad because of this marriage. You needed control, didn't you? You needed a win. This room is mine, including you, and tonight I might just test the limits of that law. You froze, then he leaned in, brushing his fingers over your jaw, not touching, just hovering. And the best part, no one is going to question me for him. In fact, I'll probably get applauded. That snapped something inside you. You are twisted. You are not mad because I hate you. You are mad because I make you feel something and you can't handle it. He blinked while he stared back. Want to control me, own me, drag me into your chaos, but deep down, you are just scared I might be the one thing you can't actually break. There was silence. His smirk was gone now, not completely, but it faltered. You turned and walked past him, heading for the other side of the room. And as you reached for your bag, he said it quietly, intimately. You're not the first woman to hate me, but you will be the first to fall this hard. You didn't even look back when you muttered. Then you better prepare for disappointment. The next morning, you walked into the dining hall, your spine stiff and eyes fixed on anything that wasn't him. But of course, there he was, John Jungkook, sitting comfortably at the long table, laughing lightly at something your father in law just said, like he hadn't turned your night into a psychological battlefield. The scent of freshly brewed coffee and toasted bread should have been comforting, but the tension in your chest made it taste like dust. Oh, sweetheart, your mother in law beamed. Come sit next to your husband. Your eyes did a full sweep of the chairs. Of course, the only vacant one was next to him. That smug bastard had probably made sure of it. You nodded stiffly and walked over, eyes avoiding his. He didn't say anything, but you could feel the heat of his gaze the moment you sat down. Jungkook leaned a little closer and whispered under his breath, "Miss me already?" You didn't look at him. "Only in my nightmares." He chuckled softly, acting like you had whispered something sweet. "Good morning to you too, wifey." You clenched your jaw, reaching for the jam like it was the only thing that could keep your hands busy and away from stabbing him with a butter knife. "Oh, look at them," your aunt-in-law said with a teasing grin. Newlyweds still stuck in that shy phase, from school and college buddies to life partners. Not everyone is this lucky. He forced a polite smile, the kind that didn't quite reach your eyes. It was either that or roll your eyes so hard they might get stuck. Everyone around you looked so pleased, especially Aunt Sori when gushed about how lucky you two were going from school and college buddies to life partners. If only they knew the truth. You and Jungkook had never been buddies. You were rivals, always competing, always clashing, never able to breathe in the same space without starting a fire. Every interaction had been a battlefield, and the only thing you would have ever shared was mutual annoyance. But fate, or rather your parents, had other plans. They thought marrying you off to the John heir would be a brilliant union of families. You tried to protest, but your father's disappointment and your mother's dreams of a picture perfect wedding left you with little choice. Refusing would have meant hurting them, and so you went along with it, thinking you could survive it with enough distance and cold civility. What you didn't expect was Jungkook leaning into this arrangement like it was a game, like you were just another challenge he fully intended to win. And now here you were, trapped in a marriage born out of family pressure, seated beside a man you couldn't stand and who seemed to enjoy every second of it. If only they knew that your wedding night wasn't filled with love but with chaos, sarcasm and war, and the honeymoon phase they were dreaming about, it was nothing more than a cold war dressed in petals and candlelight. Not everyone is this lucky, am I right, Ryan? Aunt Sori repeated dreamily. You nodded with the sweetest fake smile you could muster. Yes, truly blessed. Under the table, Jungkook leaned closer, his voice low enough only for you to hear. Don't worry, wifey. If they ever find out the truth, I'll just say you have always had a crush on me and couldn't admit it. You turned to him with a deadly calm, whispering back, "Try that and I'll file for divorce and an exorcism." He grinned wider. "Still wouldn't change the fact you are mine now." You smiled tightly, picked up your knife again, not to stab but to cut your toast. One day you told yourself, one day you'll win this war. Must have been a tiring night, His uncle chimed in, elbowing your father-in-law who laughed along. You dropped your fork, Jungkook leaned closer again, voice like silk. "Tell them, babe, should I start or would you?" You glared at him sideways. "Try it and I'll cut your tongue off mid-sentence." But he smiled, that smile, the one that looked innocent to everyone else but screamed trouble just for you. His mother clapped her hands, eyes glowing. Now, don't be shy. We know how passionate young love can be. Jungkook looked over at you with lazy amusement. Oh, it was definitely passionate. You nearly flipped the damn table, Jungkook. You gave him a warning whisper, your face heating with embarrassment. What? He said with a soft shrug, sipping the coffee like he hadn't just ignited a fire under the table. I'm just saying it was eventful. The elders chuckled knowingly. We expect to hear good news soon, his father added with a wink. An heir would be wonderful. Your hands froze mid motion, your heart stuttered. You looked down, trying not to react. Jungkook, of course, didn't miss a beat. Well, we'll do our best, right, sweetheart? You turned to him slowly, your smile sweet and razor sharp. Oh, we are doing something, all right. Just not what you think. He leaned closer again, his lips dangerously close to your ear. You keep denying me like that, princess, and I might just have to make you fall for me, just to ruin your plan. You shoved your chair back politely. Excuse me, I suddenly lost my appetite. As you walked away, head high, shoulders tight, you could still hear his voice behind you, calm, amused, victorious. Don't worry, he sat to the table, tone light. She just needs time to adjust to being mine. The moment the bedroom door shut behind you, you spun around like a storm, ready to tear everything apart. You're enjoying this way too much, aren't you? You snapped, voice trembling with pent up rage, sitting there, playing the perfect husband, letting them plan our whole damn future while you sit pretty and smirk. Jungkook didn't even flinch. He leaned against the door, arms crossed, that maddening calm still plastered on his face. And how exactly do you expect me to behave, huh? You are my wife now. Should I act like we are strangers in front of our families? You let out a bitter laugh, running both hands through your hair like you were trying not to tear it out. Don't call me that. Don't say that word like it meant anything to you, because it doesn't to me. This whole marriage, this isn't love, it's a sentence. He pushed off the door slowly, walking towards you, step by step. No, it's not love, not yet. But it's not nothing either. I'm trying. You shook your head, fuming. You are trying? By teasing me every second? By pushing my buttons like it's your personal hobby? I can't even look at you without wanting to scream, Jungkook. Then scream, he said, simply standing right in front of you now. Hate me, punch me, break everything in this room, but don't pretend like you don't feel anything. That's the only lie I won't tolerate. Your chest rose and fell rapidly, heart racing. You don't get it. I didn't want this marriage. I didn't want you. I got shoved into this mess for my parents' sake. I know, he cut in, jaw tied. You think I didn't know that? You think I can't see how much you wish this was someone else? You were quiet for a second, caught off guard by the crack in his voice. But I won't back off. I won't give you space to run, because you're mine now, and I'm not walking away from you just because you are scared of feeling something real. Your throat burned with words you couldn't say, words like I hate you, this isn't fair, and worse, the terrifying truth that maybe you didn't hate him as much as you claimed. Your voice shook as you pointed a finger at him. Oh, so now you want this. Now you're planning the devoted husband for what? Just to fulfill your parents' goddamn wish? Your voice was sharp, cracking in the heavy silence. To make me a vessel now, so I can carry out your bloodline, give this perfect family an heir so they can smile at the breakfast table and pat your back? Like you have done your duty? You scoffed bitterly, but your eyes were blazing. That's all this is, right? You get to show off your little trophy wife and wait for me to pop out a kid like it will fix everything. Jungkook's face changed instantly. The tension in his jaw, the way his eyes flickered. He wasn't angry, he didn't raise his voice. He just stood there, quiet, still wounded in a way you hadn't expected. Not because you were wrong, but because you were so far from the truth that it actually hurt him. He looked at you like you had ripped something open inside him and didn't even know it. And that silence, that quiet ache in his eyes, somehow it was worse than him yelling back. Finally, he opened his mouth to speak, but his voice was laced with disappointment and hurt from the damage your words did. You really haven't changed, he said quietly, still so quick to think the worst of me. You opened your mouth, but nothing came out. I didn't marry you to fulfill some family duty. I didn't ask for this wedding to make you some vessel, God. He shook his head, running a hand through his hair. But I guess no matter what I do, that's all you'll ever believe about me. There was no heat in his voice, just disappointment, and that cut sharper than anything else. I thought maybe, just maybe this time you would see me for who I really am. He looked at you one last time, but you're still stuck in the past, still convinced I'm the enemy. Then he turned around and left, no slamming the door, not saying another word, just leaving that ache of his words to settle where your anger used to be. The door shut behind Jungkook with a quiet finality. You stood frozen in place, the tension still coiled in your chest like a rubber band pulled too tight. You told yourself you were right. He deserved it. He was provoking you, pushing every button you had, acting like he was the victim, like this marriage was some fairy tale, but the truth, ugly and unwelcome, sank in slowly. That look on his face, it wasn't anger, it was disappointment, and that hit harder than it should have. Not because you cared, no, of course not, but because somewhere deep down you knew he hadn't been wrong. You had been treating him like the enemy since day one, like every gesture, every tease, every moment of calm was some new strategy to get under your skin, but he hadn't done anything truly cruel. Not one thing. He was annoying, cocky, infuriating, but not malicious. He had been patient, and you lashed out because you were scared of what it might mean if you didn't. If you let the walls down, if you started admitting that somewhere buried beneath the stubbornness and the scowls, you didn't hate him. You sat down slowly and the silence stretched around you. Suddenly the room felt too empty, his absence too loud. Maybe he was right, maybe you hadn't changed, maybe you were still too proud to see what was in front of you. You sighed, rubbing your hands over your face. No, you weren't going to go running after him, not yet, but tomorrow you wouldn't glare at him at the breakfast table. You wouldn't scoff if he pulled your chair out, you wouldn't say anything really. But you would look, and this time you wouldn't pretend you weren't. Dinner was quiet, too quiet. Clinks of cutlery filled the silence, the kind of silence that screamed louder than words. Your in-laws exchanged looks across the table. Your mother-in-law's smile was tight, your father-in-law's brows faintly furrowed. Ahem, Aunt Sori finally broke the silence with a small, forced chuckle. Did you two fight already? That was fast. You looked up instinctively, heart hammering. Jungkook didn't even flinch. He kept chewing, calm and composed like he didn't hear her at all. Your mother-in-law tried to laugh it off. It happens, you know. Adjustment takes time, but you'll see in a few weeks I'm going to sleep. Jungkook said flatly, cutting her off. His chair scrapped quietly as he stood up. Jungkook, your father-in-law called, tone light but edged. He gave them a polite bow and murmured good night before walking away, leaving tension clinging to the air like smoke. You felt everyone's eyes shift to you next, and you could barely swallow the lump in your throat. You managed a weak excuse, something about work, emails, and quietly excused yourself too. You came in the room and stood at the doorway, watching him toss that pillow on the couch with that same quiet resolve that somehow hurt more than if he had yelled. His back was to you, his shoulders tense. He didn't even glance your way. You hated the way your chest ached at that, hated it even more than you cared. Where are you going? You asked, your voice coming out flatter than you meant. He paused just for a second. You don't have to worry, he said without looking back. I'll sleep out here, my presence won't bother you. You bit the inside of your cheek hard. Don't be dramatic. I'm not, just respecting boundaries you made pretty clear. He replied, still calm, too calm, and that pissed you off even more. You crossed your arms, trying to ignore the way your throat felt tight. Didn't tell you to sleep outside. He finally turned, eyes tired but unreadable. No, you just made it obvious I shouldn't be near you. There was silence for some time. You hated the way that stung, hated the guilt pooling in your gut. He went back to unfolding the blanket, that stupid blanket. Look, he started, then stopped. You didn't even know what you were trying to say. The words tangled somewhere between pride and guilt and everything else you hadn't dealt with since this marriage started. He sighed, it's fine, okay? You don't have to say anything. No, I do. You breathed out sharply. You were acting like you have been wronged. He looked at you this time, but didn't say anything. His silence said more than words. And it rattled you. You swallowed, hating how shaky you sounded. It didn't mean it the way it came out. And the child, about all that. But you said it. He said quietly. I was angry, frustrated, confused, I don't know. About me. About this. You gestured vaguely. About this whole marriage. About not knowing how to do this with you. Another long pause. You looked at him. He looked at the floor. You took a slow breath. I'm not good at this, letting people in, especially you. Why especially me? He asked in a low voice. Because you make it harder to pretend I don't feel anything. That made his head lift. His brows knit slightly, unsure if he heard right. You looked away. I never wanted this, but I didn't hate it either. I didn't hate you. He stepped a little closer, like he wasn't sure if it was allowed. I just don't know how to be in this. But when you said you would sleep outside like I meant nothing, it didn't feel right. He was quiet for a moment before he spoke again. Then what do you want? You hesitated and then slowly, almost embarrassed. I want you to stay. He studied you for a beat. His voice, when he replied, was quiet, but there was something deeper in it now, something cracked. You really haven't changed. He murmured, not cruel, not cold, just disappointed. You always wait until I'm walking away. That one hurt, and you didn't even try to defend yourself this time because he was right. You looked down, breathing slowly, like if you stayed still long enough, the shame would pass. But then his steps nearer. Okay, he whispered just loud enough, I'll stay. You didn't lift your head, but when the blanket fell softly back on the bed instead of the couch, you exhaled. You sat at the edge of the mattress, fingers tangled in your lap, heart loud in your chest. He stood beside you quietly, not touching, not pushing. You're really staying? You asked, voice barely above a whisper. I said I would, unless you change your mind again. You glanced up, meeting his eyes, uncertain, unreadable. Yours probably looked just as conflicted. He sat next to you, a careful distance apart, but it felt closer than it should. A quiet moment passed, and then you turned your face slightly towards him. You didn't even remember leaning in. Just the soft brush of his lips against yours, tentative, almost unsure, not demanding, not rushed. Like he was asking, not talking, and you kissed him back. Only for a second, but it felt right. You pulled back slowly, eyes still half lowered, unsure what to say or even feel. Jungkook didn't move for a second, then he tilted his head slightly with that infuriating smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth. I knew it. You wanted it. You just needed me to start so you could pretend it wasn't your idea. Your eyes widened in disbelief as heat rushed to your cheeks. Excuse me? He leaned closer, lips barely brushing your ear. It's okay, sweetheart. I'll take the blame, if it means you get to finally enjoy what you have been dying to try. He groaned and smacked his chest, muttering, cocky jerk. He grinned, catching your wrist gently before you could pull away. Admitted, it felt right. You rolled your eyes, but the smile was already sneaking onto your face. Maybe. He stepped back just enough to look at you properly. See, now we are finally getting somewhere. You half turning away just enough to hide your smile. Shut up, you muttered, walking towards the other side of the bed. Behind you, he chuckled under his breath. If that's your way of inviting me to bed, just say so. You threw a pillow at him, he caught it and stayed.